These are 3 pieces that I had bisque fired and then glazed with some new test glazes, or Raku. When I first light the flame, it's very lazy, it's not concentrated, it's not actually giving off a lot of heat until I turn up the airflow, the forced air aspirator, and turn down the gas pressure to lean it out. And I go by sound. You can hear the sound difference. The audio is actually turned way down because it's quite loud. I'm covering up the chimney a little bit so you can hear the difference. Now the kiln is cold. As the kiln heats up, this change by closing up the chimney will make a huge difference in where the heat actually is in the kiln. It's been about an hour now, and my kiln temperature is up to about 1500 degrees. Now here you can see with some special effects the heat coming out, and you can see it with your eyes, but with the camera it doesn't really show up. And right now I'm moving that piece back and forth, and you can kind of see in the bottom on the left the flame getting a little bigger where the burner actually goes in. And this adjustment is amazingly fine. Just an eighth of an inch either way makes a big difference. My goal is to have about 80% of the flame coming out of the top so that the ball of heat is right in the center of the kiln. And there you can see without any kind of effects, you can barely see it. I thought this was kind of interesting. My burner, the outside of the burner, normally would be about 300 degrees or so by this time, and it's about half that temperature. And also I noticed that my hood is almost room temperature, maybe up about 5 or 8 degrees, and it would normally be about 140 degrees. And that's because my kiln, as time goes on, is becoming more refractive as the paper burns out. It's been an hour and a half. I'm at about 1700 degrees. I kind of had to rush this one a little bit and I had to leave, so I really wanted to go about 75 degrees higher. These pieces are just test pieces, so it's not a big deal. That's a garlic keeper that I had done before, and it had some warpage, so I couldn't sell it, obviously. I'm using just shredded newspaper for my reduction. I've tried a few things, and that really seems to work the best, especially if you're looking for smoke effects. It works really well. I need to get some different buckets. You can see when I put the lid on this one that it leaks a little bit too much. I think a little bit of air going in a way is good. It keeps the combustion at least going a little bit. And it's still searching for oxygen, so it actually works still pretty well. It's just the amount of smoke. Although you can see with this hood that I have, almost all the smoke goes directly out, gets sucked right out with the exhaust fan, which is, it's like a 2 horsepower motor. These test glazes actually came out really well, except for the one, the green that was on the top in the beginning. You can see when I'm putting it into the kiln. I had some synthetic cryolite in that formula, and although it affects the oxides really nice, it has a tendency to pop or create craters. So I'm going to be taking that out of the formula. And that piece actually cracked after I put it in. It was a little bit too hot when I quenched it. And this is not my Raku clay. This is just a stoneware clay that I've used before for Raku and worked really well, but unfortunately this one did get a crack. And of course it was the nicest of the 3 and suitable for sale. The copper color on that glaze came out pretty incredible. The green that was on the top of this did have craters, and so unfortunately that piece is not that great either, but the colors are unbelievable. It ran all the way down really nice. I'm going to redo that mixture without the ingredient, because you can see the way it rolled down the side and caused major changes in the color all the way almost to the bottom. The green that was on the top on this piece didn't crater very much, except for on the inside a little bit where it ran down, and that's because I used a thinner application. I think in the future I might just spray this on for a little bit of color accent around the corners, and of course with the ingredient omitted, it won't crater. That green does give a really nice chrome. You can see the chrome on there near my thumb.